You're watching Fanboy Versus with your hosts, JD Church, Nicole Hale, Chris Triplett, and Chris McFeely.
And you are watching Fanboy Versus. I am your host, JD, joined once again by my full crew, Chris Triplett, Chris McFeely, Nicole Hale. Welcome, gang.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. So, it is Fanboy Versus, the end of an era, the end of AvsX, the beginnings of Marvel Now. Everything's changing. Forget what you know. Okay,
But
don't do that because it's all the same. But
it's not DC.
It's not. it's just a soft reboot like they always do, and more number ones to sell stuff.
I do wish they'd call it Marvel Now 52. You know,
Just to tell you, because the number's not really DC's. It's just a number that DC uses a lot.
Or no, call it Marvel Now 53. You know, we're one higher.
One better.
We're one better than that.
52.
They only got 52. We got 53.
Yeah, that's right. 52 plus 1 to infinity. Then DC comes out with a new 52 plus infinity. And then Marvel's like, new 52 and plus 1 plus infinity plus 1.
Then
they just
collapse.
And then they just kick dirt. And then they just kick dirt each other's eyes, and they have to go to the principal's office.
Them because they have a force field.
Right.
Then IDW emerges as the #1 comic company.
Truth. Truth. So, so we've got the end of AvsX. That's a thing that certainly ended this week, and we're going to talk about that at the end of the show. And other stuff as well. It's a not very busy news week because we've got New York Comic Con coming up. So, of course, everybody's saving whatever nuggets they have. I don't even know what they would have at this point coming up. But
they're gonna reveal the new Spider-Man.
They're gonna.
What's going to happen there? Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Just kidding.
Yeah. No.
No, I mean, whatever's coming.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, the ending that'll be revealed in YCC for sure.
Yeah, I think that will be a thing. So.
I feel like the only thing I heard, which has nothing to do with comics, but it's awesome, is that Creo G.I. Joe figures.
Oh yeah, that's.
They're so cool.
That's another thing that's happening.
It seems like the thing that Hasbro has done with Creo so far that seems best suited to it. Because you build it, you don't have to take it apart to rebuild it, and it's a vehicle, and then you can have a G.I. Joe Creo on, and you can put the Creo on.
They did Creo Battleship, and that was...
that was exactly the same, except...
That was the thing on shelves.
Except for that was attached to that movie that nobody went and saw.
Well, but to be fair, I think that's more to do with the Avengers and less to do with Battleship.
Yeah. Yeah.
I saw Battleship. I was entertained by it.
I've heard it was a good movie. I mean, I haven't seen it yet.
It's a fun movie.
I heard it was...
But it's a fun movie.
I heard it was the best movie ever, and it's going to win Oscars. But, you know, that's just what
But it's a really
People
fun
say
movie.
Stuff.
Things were said. People happened.
Yes. Words will fly at the screen.
So anyway, news then. What news do we have?
Well, speaking of Spider-Man, we've had a few more of those we've had one more of those. Two more. There are 3 weapons. Surprise? No, there are 3 more things to do with those one-word Marvel Now teasers.
Okay.
We've had Savage by Frank Cho. And Frank Cho is the only name on it, so presumably he's writing and drawing, and this is pretty much a given as being Wolverine.
Yay.
Okay. I don't know why Frank Cho is doing it. Wolverine does not have breasts.
That's the first thought that comes to your head, right?
Well, I guess they could give him breast or X-23.
Yeah. No, she's busy over in Avengers Arena. So.
God. They're all going to die.
One I won't be buying. And then far more interestingly, the one I will be buying, which is Amateurs, which is, whatever it may be, that's the Kieran Gillen, Jimmy McKelvey book.
Ah.
Yes. This is all set for
Amateurs.
2013. Now, Bleeding Cool has been saying for a long time that this is going to be Young Avengers, and I could see it because it's got Wiccan in it.
Oh, it does have Wiccan? Okay.
Well, based on the Marvel Now .1 preview image that we've seen. It's
Gotcha.
got Wiccan and Miss America in it, so
Oh, okay.
I will buy that. And we have got the creators for the Superior teaser that we
Okay.
were talking about before, and it is Slot.
Oh, so...
Yeah. Slot. And then the artists credited are Ryan Stegman, Humberto Ramos, and Giuseppe Camuncoli. And the Superior, while they haven't added any like over effect. You know how like some of them have claw marks slashed through them, or targets on top of them, or blood dripping from them, or whatever. Well, they've added an effect to this one, and it's gone all red and blue.
Ooh.
Huh.
Is it the Superior Spider-Man?
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll find out
Ooh.
in a week's time.
Wow. I can't wait. He's gonna die.
Shut up! Shut up!
I am super looking forward to whatever is coming down the pipe in Amazing Spider-Man, but I'm well cheesed off with the fact that I already know that whatever it is, Marvel are already being very secretive about it right now. Save to say that something is going to happen. This is going to get blown to shit in the Associated Press on Monday night, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, there's... Marvel's track record on this is so bad, you know. I mean, they love spoiling their own stuff, you know, right ahead of time. So, yeah. Just let it be. Is that so hard?
I'm hoping I'll be able to read it on Monday night before the news comes out. So.
Well, I'll just not watch anything.
Just avoid everything.
Yeah.
Not be on the internet in that case.
I'll just like look at a wall.
Yeah. That'll be my luck, though, that I'll be on, like, Superhero Time on Monday night, and like, did you hear that Peter Parker now has 10 legs? And I'm like, ah!
Is that your XV impression?
I think it's an attempt at a Fort Max / Paladin interpretation. Because I can hardly tell those guys apart. I love them to death, but oh my god. And happy birthday, Paladin. But, yeah. Wow.
It's his
Anyway,
birthday today.
they both sound like Muppets. Anyway,
Oh,
so,
ouch.
in a good way. In a good way. I love them. Anyway, they're a lot of fun. I enjoy the hell out of doing that show with them. So, and there's my Fort Max story from BotCon as well. So that's always fun. Have I told you the story? Have I told you all? Have you heard the story?
I know the story.
Oh my God! I'll go ahead and tell the story because our listeners on this show don't get to hear a lot of stories out of like BotCon and stuff because we don't talk about it very much. But so I was at BotCon and Fort Max was there as well, and I was in the line to get the exclusive available figures, not the figures that you order when you order your pack, but the ones that are available at the convention.
Yeah.
Huge long line, and there's like 3 different lines depending on whether you're just getting the figures, you're getting other stuff, or whatever. So like 2 lines over, I see Fort Max, and I recognized him, you know, because I had seen him on the live show and stuff. So so I start like trying to wave and like get his attention. So I'm like, Fort Max, yelling, and I get nothing. And I'm like, Fort Max, and so like. He kind of does this half turn, look at me, and then look back forward in the line. I'm like, Fort Max, it's JD from the show. This Fort Max. And he like looks over, nods, and goes back looking forward. And I was like, that's all I got. It was just, I was like, okay. But we hung out later, him and XB and I at the deal. But it was just like so great because here's a fat guy just like going fucking ape shit, like Fort Max, oh my god, and he's just like. So anyway,
Who is that crazy?
yeah. So that's a running gag on Superhero
At what
Time.
point did he realize who you were?
Probably the next day when I was with XB. No, he realized who I was, but yeah, he definitely, like, when he's telling his version of the story, he's like, "Who is this crazy person, and who are they waving at?" You know? But yeah, I think it's. But he definitely didn't want anything to do at that point with me. But anyway, yeah. So those guys are fun. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry. More news then. So Superior, blue and red is all we know.
So I need to buy this. Whatever. Superior.
It's gotta be the next Spider-Man thing, and we'll find out at NYCC, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I mean, they might just be trying to trick us with the blue and red and the slot banner, but I'd be surprised.
I wish that they would like change the colors to green and purple, and it turns out it's like a new She-Hulk book by Dan Slott. Oh my god, that would be superior to everything.
He's already written She-Hulk.
I see what you did there.
Don't you want him to like move on, do other things, like you know?
No, I want him to do another She-Hulk.
No, I want him to do She-Hulk and Spider-Man forever.
And when he gets done with it, he can do a '90s Ghost Rider revival.
Oh fuck you! Whatever, you're not getting that, okay?
You know what?
No
you know
for
what?
you.
Though, for any listeners in the UK, if you don't get the Marvel Graphic Now collection that's coming out at the moment, what did I just say? Did I just say Graphic Now?
You just said graphic now. I don't know what that is.
No, it's getting in my head. Marvel Graphic Novel collection. Marvel Graphic... Yeah.
And then somewhere a Marvel executive is like, "Yes, it's working. It's working."
It's affected the consciousness. Yeah.
So the Marvel Graphic Novel collection is a series of hardback books that are coming out in the UK at the moment, which are fortnightly like releases. They're being released like comics or magazines, that they're on the shelf for the 2 weeks and then they come off and they're replaced with the new one. So they're not supplanting like the bookstore editions of the graphic novels. They're just a new graphic novel is out each fortnight. And they've done about 20 issues, you know, and they're collecting things like the first Straczynski Spider-Man, Secret Wars, the Avengers Forever, Daredevil Born Again, just major graphic, the first Straczynski Thor, major graphic novels and important story arcs and good starting places to read about these things anyway. So I just feel it's important to mention that this week's issue is the first volume of Dan Slott's She-Hulk.
Ah.
Ooh.
And that shit is all kinds of out of print, so get away at it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I even tried to find it on Comixology because I thought maybe it'd be like cheap and I could like just get like a portable version for my Kindle. They don't even have it on Comixology. Nope. What is wrong with this world?
And that's only £10 as well.
So in the U.S., that's $50.
Something between 15 and 20, I think.
Yeah, it's not that bad. Yeah,
For a
yeah.
hardback.
That's pretty good.
So get that.
I'm excited.
So speaking of the Hulk as well, then the other bit of news that we've had this week is that it's fairly limp news as news goes, but we've got to find something to talk about here, which is that Iron Man and the Hulk are gonna star together in the newest Marvel direct-to-DVD animation.
Yeah, I heard about that. They're doing that again.
There is one that's interesting. Yeah, I did read about this. So it's going to be CGI as well, as what I ran.
Yeah. So that's one terrible idea.
Yeah, that'll last. So
bad guy is Zax. So that's really
Zax.
a thrilling villain to carry 70 minutes. That'll do nicely. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. They did release supposedly they released the names of the characters for the Joss Whedon pilot for.
That's right.
Shield.
They did.
Yeah.
I promptly forgot about them because they're not even real Marvel characters.
Yeah, they're just random people. So it was like
I saw somebody took the names and the brief character descriptions we had and broke them up into the Joss Whedon tropes and the examples of how of every character from every other Joss Whedon show, how they were just them, you know.
Which made me even wonder how legit they are because, you know, it's like it's one of those deals where like which came first, you know, it's like the chicken and egg because it's kind of like, well, they're so tropey for Joss Whedon. It's like, is it really that or is it just, you know, something? I
don't care either way. I just think that they should just cast them all as the Firefly cast and cancel Castle so Nathan Fillion can be on it, and I'll watch that show. Yeah.
Okay, sure, I could do that. Yeah.
Nathan Fillion can guest star in some episode as Clay Quartermain.
I'll accept.
Well, and that's the kind of thing, though. It's like, wouldn't it make more sense to pull them from Marvel lore? Like,
Yeah,
wouldn't...
why am I not reading about Clay Quartermain and the
Dum Dum
Contessa?
Duncan.
Well, Dum Dum doesn't seem to be on the table, unfortunately, because he was in the wartime.
Yeah, that kind of
They
screws up the
find
timeline.
him frozen like Captain America.
Right?
and-
Yeah, it could happen.
And the hat's
Yeah.
frozen too.
That's how they find him. The hat is kind of
sitting in
stuck
an
up.
own- just sitting in its
Uh,
own block of ice, just a foot to the left. Just there.
Reaching for the hat, frozen.
Yes.
Get my hat. You get him out. Don't forget my hat.
Nice.
No. So, yeah, but that was a thing that sort of happened.
Did happen. Yeah.
A Joss Whedon
We're-
show. I
we're-
would watch that.
We're
Tell me
just at the
what happened.
pilot status this point, so we don't even know if ABC's actually going to pick this up or not. I mean,
well, no, it's not as if this is Wonder Woman or something. This is the Avengers tie-in.
yeah,
They're gonna have to be super dumb not to pick this up.
yeah. I mean, I don't. But
This is not like passing on Wonder Woman.
I don't think they
it's not on
can-
Fox, so that's good. 'Cause
Well-
it won't die season.
that's the thing, though, is that I don't wonder like if it doesn't make the cut, if it just dies. Like you know, sometimes if it's an independent production, they can choose to do it go elsewhere with it. But I would be
If it
surprised.
dies, it dies.
I think if
you
it
know.
dies, it
It's not-
dies. I don't think it'll be
That's the thing. It's not like this is Firefly where you have this or that's it. You know,
right.
this is going to be a little supplement to the thing that actually is going to have superheroes in it.
Right.
I'm not gonna if this never happens, I'm not going to cry about
Oh
it.
God, no, not at all, not at all. I'm just saying it's.
Did anybody watch Arrow?
I
Not
thought
started yet.
Yeah, it
It
starts-
starts,
Wednesday.
no, it starts
I thought it-
Wednesday.
Yeah, that
I
was
thought it-
another thing I was going to mention is that So I know that Triplets just chomping at the bit
You know it.
to watch
The
that
thing
show.
is, I love
We
Green
got-
Arrow. I don't want to see them mess this up. Actually, my comic book shop guy gave me this huge poster of him. I'm like, okay,
But yeah,
I'll
I mean,
take
you've
it.
got
The one,
got
the
this-
one positive thing about Arrow is that what's his name? Captain Jack Harkness is going to be in it.
yes.
I
That's-
heard that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's he
Yeah.
gonna play?
We don't know who he's going to play, but I've heard people think that maybe the Question, maybe somebody else.
Mm.
What the? No.
Wow. But no,
I
you
don't-
got this. You've got this
Jack.
picture of the guy in the back of a lot of your DC books. So he's got a lot of scars, but he's pretty cut. So
Yeah, it's like they know who they're advertising that shit to, and I'm not sure what this is doing in my comics.
Well,
Sure, the friggin' straight 18 to 34-year-old males who make up 99.7% of your reading audience are really into this advert.
yeah. Well, maybe the gay ones.
That's it.
Maybe those 5 gay readers that DC like.
Don't be ridiculous. They've got Bunker to keep them going.
Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about it. It's like, in both Scarlet Spider and Spider-Man, they have like prominent gay characters as secondary characters in those books. So, that they don't make a big deal out of. It's just like they're there. Kind of nifty.
Kind of.
Just like real life.
Yeah, just like exactly, just like real life,
It's just like, okay, there's someone different out there.
Yeah.
Oh well, let's move on.
But yeah, exactly. It's like it's
I
just
guess
there.
we should probably all try to watch Arrow this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and catch it.
I'll at least watch the first episode. Can't guarantee if I will stay. I mean,
I saw there was a
It'll-
small making of preview type thing dropped out this week, and they basically said one sentence about how it was based on a comic and then didn't say anything else.
Yeah,
Which can, which
never
continues
know.
to further the notion that Warner's is somehow embarrassed of the fact that all this stuff is based on comics.
yeah.
despite the fact that Smallville lasted like 10 seasons, they're embarrassed by comics now. What?
Well, again, I think some of
Thing
that.
that refused to be a comic.
Yeah. Well, they get that. It's that weird in between deal where it's like in some ways like they're afraid that it's like we talk like you just saying that saying that the major audience for this is going to be like the female viewership, and yet it's like they don't want to play up the fact that it's comic book story. I don't know. They don't know what they want it to be. They want it to be a comic, but they don't, because comics are big.
They want it to be money.
They want it to be money, and it's going to be money. I mean, it's not.
I don't know. I don't know about you guys, but I'm kind of hoping it fails so that we can get that Raven TV show they were talking about.
Oh,
'cause I
yeah.
want that back.
So
Yeah.
Raven.
God.
No, there was a TV show called.
So it's no. This one would be called "So It's Raven." Like
it's Raven.
It's Raven.
So, yeah, that was the height of the meeting that commissioned the Raven TV show. So it's Raven?
That's the title. That's the name of the show.
She's just like a trainee witch who is just trying to deal with the troubles of high school, and she does magic like in her bedroom and everything. She doesn't live in Azeroth or anything like that, but like maybe her mom comes from there or something, or maybe she just attends Azeroth High.
Wasn't that show already out? I think it was.
It's just a Themyscira High, so it's a crossover with the Wonder Woman show.
Wasn't there a teenage?
Yeah, we'll have that later on. They'll get like an exchange student program going, or some, or maybe it could be a college, and the Themyscira High students visit, to check, as like a prospective college or something, and the principal is phobia. I don't think Raven has any villains.
Oh, I'm telling you, we should be doing writing for.
Can't get worse.
I think we should.
Yeah, they should hire us as the writing team.
Here's the thing. It's completely unrelated to comics and everything. But if you were following me on Twitter or Facebook a little while ago, I posted this this plot outline for a Monopoly film that me and Jeff came up with. And it's the thing is though, while we start out saying it as goofing around, and it would still be a pretty bad film, it's the sort of film that would get made. We have a moment. I'll tell you. Give you a quick description of the outline.
How much time do we have?
Aren't they actually making them?
They are making a Monopoly film.
You have 5 minutes. Go.
Oh, I don't have 5 minutes. At last description, like the Monopoly movie was going to be about some dude who's really good at Monopoly, like going to and nothing else. Some slacker dude being no good at Monopoly was going to sleep and waking up in Monopoly, and that was going to be the film. At last description. No, so our Monopoly film is about Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly are the Parker brothers.
I saw this on your.
Oh my
God.
Who have man children who have always had a long-standing sibling rivalry, and the film will open with them playing a game of Monopoly. And of course, this is a farcical screwball comedy type film. So the game of Monopoly will end when they get into an argument. This is them as children. They'll get into an argument. One of them will flip the board over, and they'll start wrestling on the floor, because that is how every single game of Monopoly played in human history has always ended. But it is while they are fighting that they will come and knock at the door. Oh no, it's their rich uncle Pennybags who has come to tell them that their parents have been killed in an automotive accident, and he will be looking after them. Then we cut to the present day for the main run-through of the film, where rich uncle Pennybags is retiring, and he's going to hand over the reins of his multinational conglomerate to one of the two brothers. But this doesn't sit well with the evil vice president character played by Christopher McDonald, who is then set on... but in order to determine which of the two brothers is going to inherit the company, Pennybags stages a contest in which the first brother to obtain a monopoly will win control of the company. And this doesn't sit well with evil Vice President Christopher McDonald, so he plays the two brothers against each other, and a series of farcical throwdowns will then ensue, culminating in McDonald arranging for, well, probably not McDonald arranging for it, but they will both be sent directly to jail, where they will have a brotherly bonding moment and realize that every game of Monopoly they ever played ended with the board being flipped over, and this time they're going to have to see it through to the end properly, and they team up, they defeat his evil ambition by exposing whatever cruel, illegal, anti-dumping, outsourcing, sweatshopping plan he has for the company, and then they inherit joint ownership of it at the end. And that is our Monopoly film. And this week we saw the campaign. We saw the campaign and discovered that someone had gone back in time, stolen our idea, replaced John C. Reilly with Zach Galifianakis and international conglomerate with Congress, and made our film.
Wow. So just one character, not
Yes. Well. That would spoil the end of the campaign, so I won't do a big booking thing.
So are you saying you liked the campaign? Because Mr. Kilby told me he didn't like it.
He
said he didn't like it. I'd like to see it, but
I was in need of a
or something.
This is the first time I've been to the cinema in over a month, and I was in need of a laugh, so I decided to go to see it instead of Looper, and it was a laugh. And
Awesome.
more to the point, it was our film.
Yeah.
So in a sense, it was somewhat validating in proving that yes, that could have got made.
No. I can't think about Jeff now, but other than thinking about some of those late night tweets I saw a few weeks ago, last week, and it's just
Okay.
yeah. Anyway,
I did see those.
you did see those?
I did not see those, but
Yeah.
I heard about them.
Yeah. I was like, what the hell? Dude, go to bed. It's awesome.
I think he might have gone back and deleted them.
I hope so.
So anyway, that's what the Monopoly film should be, and I basically had Battleship figured out in a broad sense as well, and yeah, so Hollywood should listen to me.
Yeah, you should be sending these in.
Yes.
All right.
So,
All right.
comic.
Cool. Well, let's talk about comics. You got that in under 5 minutes, too. Well done, sir. It can be done. Can be
Working
done.
hard at it.
All right. Chris Triplett, then.
Yes.
Tell us, sir.
Well, I have read some comic books, like I assume all of y'all have done this week.
Very perceptive, sir.
Yes.
Man.
My big book that I'm going to talk about is AvsX Versus #6 because I thought that was awesome. But just real quick, I'm just kind of recommend some other stuff. I thought the issue itself is it's okay, but it's just kind of cool companion piece to AvX #12 is Uncanny X-Men #19, which I won't go into too much detail about it. It's Kieran Gillen, so there you go, awesome. And but it's basically what's going on inside of Cyclops' head during the big fight in AvX #12, and it's just a good companion piece to it. So if you just kind of want to know what's going through his head, pick up Uncanny X-Men because it's a cool book. I thought this might be the last issue of Uncanny X-Men also because aren't they ending it and switching stuff around for Marvel now? Kieran Gillen's out, right?
Yeah, that's it for him and X-Men. Yeah, he's going from Journey and Uncanny into Iron Man and whatever this amateurs thing is.
Well, it says next issue, so there must be one more issue or something. But I thought this was it, and I thought, well, this is a way to go out on it because boom, But no, the book that I want to talk about, which I would never in a million years think about talking about AvX Versus on this podcast because it's an okay miniseries, but it's mostly like when you were reading the early issues of AvX, you'd see Namor and the Thing fighting underwater, and it would be a panel or something in AvX #2. It was a whole issue or something in AvX Versus, and you would see the entire fight. Well, half an issue or something, but you'd see the entire fight, and it's more expanded look at the fight. When they kept doing that, and the book was fine and everything, but then you get to #6, and I was thinking, okay, it's the end. What are they going to do now? They're just fighting one guy, so they do these crazy fights. They basically just have fun in this issue. I think there's one serious story. And
Half
the one
of it
series
is Hope versus Wanda from the main issue, which we'll talk about later, and then
remember Hope and Wanda, which we'll talk about later. They have a fight. Well, this expands on that fight, and that's kind of the serious, sort of serious. It's still funny. The end is great. Yeah. But the rest of the issue is why I wanted to talk about because it's just the craziest. It's hey, we're done, and we're just gonna do all the AvX stuff we can do just to have fun with it. And I'm just gonna read a real quick little bit of them because they're basically one-page fights.
Yeah.
Cyclops versus Captain America in verbal abuse, and it goes back to the part at the first issue where they're on the island and Cap's oh, we're gonna come in to get Hope. You got to give Hope to us. Well, it's a play on that. So it's like, Captain America, Cyclops, get off my island. Stop being a jerk. Did the Avengers send you here to bore me? What does that mean? You're boring. You're the most boring superhero on the planet Earth. And that includes Green Arrow. I'm boring. I thought your mutant power was vanilla. Excuse me? I have eye beams and the personality of haste. I like to meet the person that found and unfroze you and slap the shit out of them. They don't say shit. It's actually the little squiggly lines. Yeah. I thought your mutant power was being shocking, less interesting than your girlfriend's. Why don't you dress as Nomad again and watch your book get almost canceled? What? Yeah, this is awesome.
It's not done. No, finish it. You're nearly finished.
Yeah, I'm not done yet. Yeah. Why don't you go ask Emma Frost what to do and say next? Why don't you go dress Rick Jones as Bucky again and creep everybody out?
Oh my god.
Cap's like, hey man, that's not cool. And Cyclops is like, not so boring now, am I? I don't know. Why don't we ask Jean Grey? Oh, that's right. Not cool, man! And Cyclops storms off the beach crying. And then Cap picks up an American flag, plants it in the beach, and says, Avengers versus X-Men, 1. Then he goes down to one knee and says, oh, Bucky. And he starts crying.
Oh my god.
This is one page of this book. The rest of the book is basically all these...
What the hell is this?
What happened?
I know! I just about lost it when they said, like, you're the most boring superhero ever, including Green Arrow. I was like, what?
Wow.
I love
like,
this.
Reaching across the aisle and punching you in the face. That's not...
Yeah.
I love this this science battle.
The science was great.
All the scientists, like you got Dr. Nemesis and Giant Man and Kavita Rao and Iron Man and Black Panther and then Beast just beating each other up, and they're just slinging science back at one another. There's no need to introduce Eula's identity at this juncture. Well, sure, if you're not interested in representing polar coordinates in the complex plane.
Oh my god.
It's excellent.
Wow.
It's so good.
The imaginary unit is the most beautiful equation in mathematics. Feynman only called it remarkable, but he was a theoretical physicist. Without Feynman diagrams, we'd have no good way to represent the mathematical expressions governing the behavior of subatomic particles. Well, that's what happens when you put Wolverine in charge of education.
So the last line made it for me. It was like, yes.
Oh my god.
You just gotta imagine it's like all these superheroes in lab coats fighting.
Oh my god.
I missed out on
so
this.
Fantastic. There's a fight between Domino and Red Hulk. It's just so great.
Wow.
Yeah, basically Domino beats Red Hulk.
Like, you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a Red Hulk, and I'm like, I don't know what to make of this. No, it's a joke and everything, but piss off.
I have no idea of anything about Domino, and when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's just crazy. But then there's like Toad versus Jarvis, and that was awesome.
This is the best thing. It's like joke because Toad's the janitor of the Jean Grey school, so he fights Jarvis because Toad's not cleaning properly, so Jarvis gets annoyed with him, and Jarvis punches Toad through a window.
Oh my god.
And then there's like this just great. It's like it's flow of course, but it's Arthur Adams doing the art, in which it's Arthur Adams is what makes it awesome, and it's basically Hawkeye imagining his AvsX stories, and his are all Spider-Woman versus Emma Frost, in which they're basically almost tearing their clothes off of each other. Spider-Woman versus Storm, the same thing's happening, and Spider-Woman versus Psylocke, where Spider-Woman has her legs wrapped around Psylocke. Then Captain America punks him on the head and he wakes up. Imagine, I mean, if you know Arthur Adams' art, I mean, it's kind of hilarious. It's awesome. There's a story in which it's like Iron Man versus Iron Fist versus Iceman, and it's just great because it's like it's Iron Fist versus a man made of ice, you know.
Oh my god.
And he punches him, and you would think Iron Fist is gonna win, and if you thought that, you're wrong.
Yes.
But the one that makes it
crowning moment, the last page of the issue.
And I think you should do voices and read this one because
I can't do voices. It's all girls.
I can't. What do voices? Because it's awesome. Do it.
I can't
Do it in tiny,
voices.
tiny Titan.
For us, monkey.
Well, it's Squirrel Girl versus Pixie.
Oh my God!
Oh, Squirrel Girl.
Sign me up.
And it's by Dan Slott, and the art is by Katie Cook, who I don't know, but really feel like I would like to read more by.
It looks like a great book. doesn't it?
Love, it's not like chibi or anime or anything, but it's just little squishy, cutesy versions of the characters, and the Thing is in it as well, and it's just fantastically adorable because he's just a blob with an eyebrow. It's great.
Oh my God.
But it's called How We Roll, and the first panel is Squirrel Girl rolling a handful of differently shaped dice, and we pan out and we see that they're playing with little miniatures of the X-Men and the Avengers,
I thought it was Hero Clicks. I thought maybe they're playing Hero Clicks.
No,
Or
maybe
something.
they're Hero Clicks or something. I don't think Hero Clicks involves dice, does it? But whatever it is, it's some kind of role-playing dice throwing game anyway.
Yeah.
And Squirrel Girls are like, and with that, my Iron Man beats your Magneto. Woo! That's stupid. He's Iron Man. He's made of metal. No do-overs. The Thing beat Namor. What about underwater? It was underwater.
Oh my God.
Then the thing pokes his head around the door and goes, "Hey, gals, you shouldn't be playing with them toys. My bad guy, the puppet master, made him out of his mind control clay." And he takes them away, and then it's then the next day, and they read the newspaper, and it's Avengers versus X-Men Worldwide War. You don't think I'm not even here?
Oh my God.
This
you know
was
what?
a pleasant surprise. Oh my God! It was what they needed to do. They needed to make fun of themselves, and this is how you do it.
Every AvX versus story has ended with the winner. But AvX has had a lot of fun as a book anyway, because of the opening editorial page is a Q&A with an extremely aggressive narrative voice, just telling the reader, asking the questions that they don't need to know anything. But everyone has fun facts in it, and it always ends just with winner. And the name and the symbol appearing like a Capcom fighting game, So they start to have fun with it, and it's just like the science one is winner. We have no idea. Winner,
Yeah.
Jarvis. And then it's like for the Hawkeye one, it's winner. And then
Like the one with Scarlet Witch and Hope where they're fighting, and you get the AvX fun facts.
yeah.
And like they're fighting, and like Cap is like trying to stop them from fighting, and it's just like AvX fun fact: Captain America is level 15 in guilt trips. and then like Hope punches Scarlet Witch, and it says AvX fun fact: Hope is level 16 in insubordination. Hope. You just
And
got
then
this
for
great yeah.
So at the very end of Squirrel Girl versus Pixie, it goes winner. Roll 2 d8s to find out.
God.
It was great. I mean, like
It was really unexpectedly, like a
I
lot.
did
of
not
fun.
expect it.
Like
I was like,
this series started out pretty well, It kind of dipped in the middle as the joke got a little thin, and the fights really didn't have much in the way of substance. But it really pulled it around for the end.
yeah, like I was thinking, how are they going to end this? Do I even want to read this? I mean, I've already read AV12, and then like I opened it up and I was like, what? And God, this is awesome. So yeah, it's worth picking up because
Nice.
it's just so much fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Winner.
That sounds awesome.
All right. Nicole?
See, I don't know if you guys can see me or not, because I can't see
Yeah,
my
we can see you now.
Oh,
Although
okay.
Triplet has been frozen for a while, so.
Let me tell you,
Huh?
my Skype, I can't see anything on my computer. I can hear you guys. I can't see jack.
That's
crap.
all right.
don't know
I
what
can
happens to my
see-
computer.
We can see you. That's the important part. So.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
No, it's that's fine.
All right. Well, I'm going to talk about a new number one. So get your shot glasses ready. Yes. It's a new one by Image. Image has been putting out a lot of good things. This one's called Nonhumans. It's by Glenn Brunswick and Will Portillo. I think.
Ooh, Will Portillo.
That's how you say it.
Portasio or
Is that how you say
something.
it?
I don't know.
Portasio.
I ain't got
Yeah.
no notion.
Okay, well, this is set in Los Angeles in 2041, so it's in the future. It's about a cop having a really bad day, life, week, His partner's killed, but he's just having one of those days where he just needs to get out. Well, come to find out, his day gets worse as he runs someone over.
Oh
Oh
God.
no! Yeah. But the
Little
thing
bit.
is, you come and he runs this guy over and he just shatters into bits. He's a robot. So
He is a non-humanoid, if you will.
you're not human. See, that's where you come up with you're not human.
I get it.
But the thing is, it's just like robots aren't the only non-humans in this thing. Robots are starting to get the little bit of emotions, but
So
to be
robots are commonplace in this future world, yes?
yes.
Okay.
But to be considered life, they have to get like these certain cards. They're what were they called? Your existence cards, which means that
Yu-Gi-Oh!
yeah.
Cards or
no, there's called
magic
existence
cards, and you gather
called-
together and play them.
That'd be awesome. No, they're called existence cards. So that means, okay, we consider you as somewhat human, somewhat having life. But if you don't have these non-existent cards, doesn't matter. The world could treat you like hell. You don't.
Are
count.
they like circuit cards that program the robot to be alive, or did they keep
They
it in a-
haven't shown the cards yet. They haven't shown the
Okay.
cards yet because the
It
people
was like, no,
that,
you can't, officer. I am alive. Check it out.
yeah, because the people that he's dealing with, they don't have their existing cards. It's kind of like the whole thing here in America, the alien, the green cards,
Yeah, it's fine.
they don't
I get it.
consider. But so yeah,
I get it.
you get it. There's a lot of political things hidden in this, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. But of course, he's trying to get back against the guy that killed his partner. And the thing is, with the whole non-human thing, this is where it gets really weird. It's just not robots. They have other objects come to life because apparently, in the future, there's like this disease that turns people more mechanical, and it also goes into inanimate objects, which makes them come to life. So when you're in your teen years, when you're from 12 to 18, you have to take this drug called freeze, which means you can't pass on this disease. But some people are not taking it because they like the feeling of, having that becoming mechanical or passing it on.
Oh, yeah.
Like okay, so like this agent, his 14-year-old boy is in love with a former Victoria's Secret mannequin that's come to life.
Okay.
Yeah, and they decided, well, he's like, he hates, the kid doesn't like his family life, so he decides he's going to start his own family with this Victoria's Secret
Now,
mannequin.
hang on, wait a second. Okay, wait a second.
Huh?
Right. So this
Yeah,
is a
okay.
world
Mhm.
in which normal people coexist with living versions of things that are not alive in our world, and our
Correct.
star is a hard-bitten detective who hates these unnatural life forms and is searching
Yes.
for his
Mhm.
dead partner, and is now embroiled in a case in which a normal person has fallen in love with one of these unliving. So this is Who Framed Roger Rabbit with robots.
Yeah.
Nice.
Basically.
Well done. Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Just where my head went.
That's... Wow.
So the thing is, so he has this one
you, brother! It'll turn out like the judge killed it in the final issue of the miniseries.
But it gets even better. So he has this one toy that that he was able to keep from his parents.
Who he
when
has to team up with in order to solve the mystery.
his one little toy becomes his son with him and Victoria's Secret mannequin. So this 14-year-old has a son that's a 12-inch action figure.
So it's Who Framed Roger Rabbit if Roger Rabbit was a whole lot more creepier, is what you're
It
saying.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, there's a drug dealer, that pushes the freeze. And they must have been a fan of Ted because it's a teddy bear that's a drug dealer that smokes cigars and he's a hard ass. He's
And
the
that's
main
a chemical concoction that destroys these unliving creatures?
Yes. Well, no, he's
Dip.
one of the non-existent or non-existent creatures, but
Things
he's
that we brought to life.
because he's this big big drug dealer. He's like the #1 drug dealer out there that's pushing the freeze. He's teaming up with this cop as his informant. So the informant is this teddy bear.
Together they fight crime.
And to go there to where Buddy the bear lives, it's called Plastic Town. That's where all the other
There's a Toontown as well. I think Chris is onto something here.
I didn't even read this shit.
So in this trial of Disney versus this comic company, we'd like to call Chris McFeely to the stand.
Well, Your Honor, I put it together like instantly.
It was obvious to me.
But the thing is, Plastic Town was formerly known as East LA.
See what I get it.
God.
Okay, let's stop.
There's also like a demented horror doll. That's the one that helps these. Okay, when these creatures come to life, they can't see, so they have to gouge out like plastic eyes and stuff so they can actually see. That's their final way of coming to life. So, yeah, it's true. That was really kind of demented, but it's a very interesting concept. You see, it's called Nonhumans because anything that's inanimate can come to life at one point, and the humans can actually go back to something that's inanimate. So, yeah, I'm kind of like.
So it's a combination of Cool World and Roger Rabbit, then. Okay.
Yeah. There's also a serial killer on the loose. That's like the main ending. So they're all going to have to team up to find the serial killer that's killing both worlds. Yeah. So there you go. Good stuff. I love it. It's just
serial killer is played by Christopher Lloyd.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just so crazy.
That talk just like us. Anyway.
The art in here is amazing. The different little creatures, and it's kind of fun. They have like a doll that almost looks like a little sister from BioShock in here.
Wow. Somewhere, some fanboys are really excited, hoping their little anime dolls will come to life.
Oh, but the Victoria's Secret mannequin, she's hot. I'll tell you.
Well, Will's 4 to CO drew her, so I'm assuming she's looking pretty stoned.
I was going to ask, is the art any better than his stuff on Journey into Mystery? Because that was not good.
No, this art is beautiful. It's awesome. And I love Buddy. Buddy looks like really cuddly, hard ass. I like it. He's got his big cigar, and his helmet, and
cuddly.
So he's baby Huey. No, what was that baby's name?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Little cute thing that is actually a hard talking cigar smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try and deny it.
I don't like it even more now.
Chris McFeely has ruined this comic for so many people right now.
Or enhanced it.
Or enhanced it, I guess you could say.
Or made better.
Somewhat. Yeah. All I can say is that lawsuit is brewing, and I think Triplet had that right. So
I think it's kind of like Roger Rabbit meets Chucky, Child's Play. So there's some parts in it. I like it. It's so crazy. It's so fun. It's up my alley. That's for sure. So,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah. If you want something just totally bizarre, go for it.
Sweet.
Okay, I have some breaking Transformers related news.
Okay.
The Cyberverse Ironhide can ride the seat on the back of
Oh,
Sergeant
we
Cup.
can't see your video. Dang it.
You can't see my video?
Yeah,
Jeez.
try it again. Try it again, because I want to see this. 'Cause it was a good idea.
I can't see anything.
Any better? Any better? Can you see it?
Give it a second. Oh, there's Magnaboss, though. I see what Chris McFeely has.
Yeah, I'm holding the mic.
Come on, video. Come on, video. Is it working?
Got nothing.
Come on. Damn it.
I actually like that Magnaboss figure.
I've now got basically a Master Blaster version of Cup in
That's awesome.
and it's kind of awesome.
Wait. Maybe your video will come back later. Okay.
Chat seems to be broken.
Lovely.
I'm sure we're still broadcasting, but the chat seems to be... Oh, wait, maybe it's working again.
Okay.
Let's still open the game for me.
I'm trying to log on. don't know if I can see anything. I still can't see
Somebody
you guys.
in the chat post a thing if it's working. Hey, chat.
Hello. Okay.
Nobody's posting anything. Anyway, moving on.
Anyway, all right. So, once again, I am going to reiterate this point.
Oh yeah, it is working. There we go.
Hey, there's
Yes.
there's
Reiterate
Chris
another point. Go on then.
So, everyone should be reading Scarlet Spider because it's awesome.
Speaking of things that don't work.
I'll make you a deal. JD. I'll read Scarlet Spider once you start reading Turtles.
I'll think about
No,
it.
he has to read My Little Pony. Say
Oh
My Little
God.
Pony.
My Little
Oh.
Pony doesn't come out till next month.
God. Okay, so I would
well,
be.
Sprite in the chat actually mentions that apparently the Katie Cook who drew that AvX story is the writer of My Little Pony.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God, that's awesome.
not the artist. It was the art that grabbed my attention. But
Yeah.
But
Sweet.
Cool. All right. So I would be just awful if I didn't mention that Minimum Carnage started this week with the one-shot Minimum Carnage Alpha. I don't know where Alpha came in, but whatever. Why the word Alpha is in there? Because
Didn't they do a Maximum Carnage Alpha back in the day and a Maximum
They
Carnage
Okay, so
Omega?
there you go.
Yeah, I think
so
I
Maximum Carnage Alpha. Okay, so there's where the Alpha part comes from. So this is basically the one-shot introduction to the main storyline. The first part of this is Venom, so it's a crossover between Venom, Scarlet Spider, and Carnage. If you didn't catch the Carnage part.
yeah.
So the Venom part of this is him and his special teams have been called in to look into a break-in out of Thunderbolt's Mountain for what is it? It's Cassius Clay. No, Ketis. God.
Just Clay.
Muhammad Ali's in this comic?
Yes, Muhammad Ali is in this comic. No, Cletus.
Shit, I'm buying Scarlet Spider now if Muhammad Ali's in.
See, I skipped all the Carnage stuff. I can't remember the guy's name.
Cletus Cassidy.
Cletus
I think is
Cassidy.
what you
Okay,
were
there's
going for
too
there.
many. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, he has broke out. Now, there's only a couple of lines that I'll pull out of this, but there's a funny one where, Flash is talking about having to, lead this group in, but he's really freaked out by Carnage, and he's like, okay, hold it together. You're the superhero agent. You're cool. And his line in here is it's like Captain America always says, never let them see you shit your pants. I'm like, I don't know if Captain America said that. It's pretty awesome, but
I'm sure that wasn't Bucky that said that.
Yeah, it may have been
Sounds more
Bucky
like
Cap.
Bucky.
It might have been Bucky Cap, but anyway, he breaks out. And what's great is there's another little scene here where they're doing road checks, like the checkpoints. And a couple of guys are like, I don't know why we're here. It's not like he's just going to come driving up. And, of course, the next truck that comes up is him. And, got his picture and oh shit. You're under arrest. And
Carnage.
yeah, they'll blow up and die. Anyway, and then they get a tip here that, anyway, they see a very small bug creature on one of the victims because they can't figure out what was killing everybody. But there's a very small-looking bug creature that was on someone that Venom spots. So, and then they get a lead that he may be heading to Houston. 2 days later, starts for the Scarlet Spider part, and this is the part that I love. Here again, any indication that Kane isn't awesome is, my name is Kane, and I was enjoying an early morning Western omelet when reports of a fire broke. About 10 minutes after that, I realized that I was supposed to go do something about it because I'm a superhero now. So there again, just awesome. So anyway, but a victim in this fire is a horrible mangled body that obviously was why the fire was started. And there's one witness, but it turns out that there was some sort of Scarlet Spider looking monster thing that was responsible, or that was there before, of course, Kane showed up, and of course everybody's calling him Scarlet Spider, which he hates. even to the point of which they're talking about the reports, and Kane's like, well, I hope we can agree that wasn't me. He's like, no, we had multiple reports showing that Houston's very own superhero arrived after the fire was started. He said, I will pay you not to call me that. But so a little bit later, so the basic story, what the story comes around to is that Kane has teamed up, and here comes the minimum part, kids, with villains from the Micronauts.
Yeah.
The who? Apparently there's some sort of, and I've tried to research this a little bit to fill in some blanks, but apparently at one time there was some research done and a device created called a Prometheus pit, which would allow you to travel back and forth between the Micronaut universe. And that's what we're dealing with, kids. That's where the minimum comes in. Because for some reason, these sort of Micronaut villain things are trying to get to the Micronaut universe. And I guess they're going to take Kane with them and let Kane kill a bunch of people.
Carnage.
Carnage.
You keep saying Kane.
You mean Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, right?
Right. Firing on all cylinders today, kids. Anyway, they're going to take Carnage with them. Yes. So very bad. Anyway, so interesting lead in. It's going to be a fun crossover event. It's going to take place both in Venom and in Scarlet Spider for the next 4 issues, and then the final minimum Carnage
two
Omega.
issues of each, right?
Right, 2 issues of each. And then, and then the minimum Carnage Omega. So, check that out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Good stuff. Scarlet Spider, that it is. None of you read!
I know I suck.
God.
I have limited money. I am not rich. I'll get it in a trade. I know I say that, and I never.
I know,
do,
and you
but-
never do it. So, whatever. All right, Chris McFeely. Sorry, after that horrible, I can't brain, not straight. Anyway,
Come on, we gotta talk more about Plastic Town.
right. My brain apparently is fried. I will not be doing the AvsX discussion on that. So anyway, okay, go ahead. Sorry, Chris McFeely. Give us what you have.
Okay. I'm just going to touch on a couple bits and pieces quickly here. Action Comics, of course, is always worthy of a note.
Excellent.
Yes, it was very good.
It was a Halloween issue this week.
It was a howling good episode. Is where issue is what it
yes.
was. It was I mean, it barked right up my tree.
Yeah, you could say that.
in which the Fortress of Solitude appears to be haunted by a ghost that appears in mirrors and tells Superman he's going to be judged from beyond the grave, and he finds the paw prints of a gigantic hound and such like. But it turns out that it's just Zardu, the first Kryptonian banished to the Phantom Zone, who has managed to project his consciousness through, what do you call it, an exosuit, and has trapped and then activates the projector and traps Superman in the Phantom Zone, where he finds that, as we know from I think it was back in issue 5. I think it was issues 5 and 6 when we got that 2-part time travel story. That was the story where we first got our look at Zadu, and we saw he was able to reach through the Phantom Zone projector using an early version of the technology that he's perfected here and such. And we saw that Crypto had been sucked away through the portal, so Crypto comes to help him, and so does the Phantom Stranger.
The Phantom Stranger.
Yeah. I was
Phantom
like,
Stranger
wow.
In the Phantom Zone.
Yeah.
I get it. But
He even said like, who are you, stranger? I think at some point in the comic.
yeah,
I was a man who traded silver for gold.
Are you kidding me? Oh my gosh.
And now try to right that wrong as I travel through the world as a stranger.
Yeah.
I'm Judas. You get it?
You get it? I'm Judas? That's a Judas story. It's like Jesus, and you're like a Jesus story, so it's very ironic. It's funny that we would be here together.
That Jesus through the prism of Terrence and Philip.
Yes.
Take it, Dan Didio's never going to be on our podcast. Dan Didio hates us.
Yeah, I'm sure that. Yeah, I think we can write that off.
But the most interesting thing about the whole thing, aside from, well, I'm also wondering when he got the Arctic Fortress of Solitude.
Well, we know, yeah, it's like we've time jumped a little bit.
Yeah, we don't know where this came from exactly, because it was just a. I mean,
When
he
he
just
using the,
like
was he
he's
using
just
the
finished.
space? Was it the
Yeah.
spaceship something? Yeah.
He was using the collector space station ship thing. I mean, it seems like he's just moved everything from down here now because he's just finished moving.
What do you think? That's maybe in the annual where everything. We ain't
The
got the
annual-
annual, right?
Well, yeah, but the annual's not being written by Morrison, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It is being written by Sholey Fish, who does the backups in this, so I'm sure it'll be a good read. I mean, he does a very good backup in this issue, which is more about crypto, and it shows you. It's actually the backup in this is really great because it shows you crypto, like not the ghost of crypto, but like shade of crypto, able to look out on the world from the Phantom Zone, the way everybody in the Phantom Zone is able to. The Phantom Zone, they're just essentially removed from reality, but they can see and hear everything around them. They just can't interact with it. So like. As Krypton explodes, like you see the specter of Crypto just galloping out of the explosion, and you see how he follows young Clark to Earth, and how he sits at his side at his parents' graves, and he follows him into Metropolis. And there was an early reference in one of the early issues where like what appeared to be like some kind of crazy homeless vagrant told Clark he had a ghost dog watching over him, and like we get that put into context here, and we know yes. The dog was always there. The dog was beside him in every fight that he had. And just then it's a really sweet, it's just a sweet little backup strip. Like if you like dogs, if you are a dog person, the backup is probably more what you're going to take away from this. Like it's all narration, you know. And if the dog could talk, he would tell you that late at night when all was still and when the walls between worlds were at their thinnest. And you see like Clark lying on bed and Krypton just nuzzles him and cooks his hand.
Yeah.
His
It is a really sweet little story. It is.
That was the time dog loved best. You know, it's a very nice, sweet backup strip. But then, like, the thing I get more excited about is the fact that I realized, like, about halfway through, when we got a good look at Zadu's ectosuit, that he was the strange bandaged member of the anti-Superman army from the time travel.
Yes. Yeah.
And at the very end of this issue again, the little man appears and recruits him for his army. So, I mean, I think that's pretty except for the Kryptonite man, that I think is everybody who was part of the army has now been recruited in the present day of the stories. So presumably we're building up to that as the finale for Morrison's run, which is now only 3 issues away.
I know.
Oh, shit.
But hey, if you're a big fan of like the movies and stuff, when he's in the Phantom Zone, it's like the first line at that top there is like, they called me Ursa, the she-devil, and then a little further down, Neil. And then on the next
you see Neil, but you never actually finishes what he said.
And then on the next one, it's Neil before, and then that's it.
Yeah. They just like...
Even Grant Morrison knows better.
Yeah.
There's even a non-hate all at the bottom of the page. Non-hate all.
Yeah.
I am Jocks Ur who murdered the moon. You know, that's what I'm more interested in. Lines like that.
Yeah. Like, who is that guy?
Well, Jocks Ur was a Kryptonian criminal, and he was in the Superman cartoon, actually, because they didn't want to use Ursa and None. They used Jocks Ur instead.
Oh, well, there you go. See,
I'm sure all these guys are real guys.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Zadu is a real guy as well. I think people identified him from his original appearance in like issue 5. The XA-DU. Zadu.
They could use Xanadu, because Olivia Newton-John would go after him.
So yeah, there's a few like little weird touches in there. Like the Phantom Stranger in the Phantom Zone is more cute than relevant in any way or any real contribution. But the crypto elements are good. The backup strip is like probably just like as an isolated piece of storytelling. The backup strip is more rewarding than the main strip. But again, it's the threads that are tying it all together as we are now barreling towards the end. Keep Action Comics exciting for me and that keep me coming back. And another thing that's dealing with like high concepts that are doing my head in, it's Dial H number 5.
Yeah.
Back now from issue 0, exactly where we left off in number 4, where Manto and Nels retreat to try and repair the dial, while Abyss and all the little voidlets that he has spawned from the nothingness that is his body. This Abyss is the traveling companion of the squid that we heard vaguely referred to, and he is living nothingness. And the villain of this arc, XM, the Doctor, she's been established to be a nullomancer who has nothingness magic that allows her to manipulate and control nothingness itself. But unfortunately, Abyss is beyond her control. And Manto manages to sort of repair the dial, but unfortunately it winds up transforming Nels into Cock-a-Hoop, which is a large ring with a chicken's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, it
I love
is.
what they come up with this in this
I
comic.
know.
It's
How
just-
do they keep doing it? I don't know.
I'm sorry, Iron Snail is still my favorite. I don't think they give out to Iron
Boy,
Snail.
Chimney's still taking it. I think.
Yeah.
Because-
It was a strong opening there. Well, and
this
she's
is the book that I should be buying that I'm not. Not,
Well,
not
and-
Scarlet Spider. It's Dial H. I think it's the book I should.
That's the fun bit. And Cock-a-Hoop can emit powerful sonic concussion cockle-doodle-doos, and he can use his hula hoop, because he is just a hula hoop with a pair of arms and a chicken's head.
yeah.
But he can
God.
use his body to create vertigo and disorienting effects and things. So what he does is with the squid's help and instruction, he can't affect Abyss because Abyss is too big and too powerful. And Abyss is Abyss and the Voidlet. Squid is dying because he has had bits of him eaten by the Voidlets. So it's not that they actually eat him with blood and entrails and bits gushing out. They just eat a part of his being. There's just a large hole left in him. It's not gore. It's just the entirety of his
Just
is gone.
yeah.
He's like Swiss cheese. He's just got bits punched through him. They just eat nothing. They eat something and leave nothing. But they can't. Abyss is trying to consume the whole world. But what Cock-a-Hoop does is that he disorients the Voidlets and scrambles their, I'm not going to say minds, but their wherewithal. And then XN is able to use her nullomancy to redirect them upon Abyss, and they start eating Abyss, and that's how they win. Hooray! They defeat Abyss by turning his own evil destruction of nothingness back on himself. But it's how it. I mean, the dialogue is when nothing eats something, it leaves nothing. When nothing eats nothing, it leaves anti-nothing, somethingness. So whenever
Yeah.
one of the little voidlets eats a piece of Abyss, it becomes something. It just ossifies and becomes stone. They eat him into reality.
The square of a negative is a positive number.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
And it's the idea, before Squid dies, he just remarks upon his race's belief that all of the living universe is just the excrement of nothing consuming nothing.
wow. Yeah.
I mean, how great is that?
yeah.
That's awesome.
Good stuff.
It's just that
good
everything that has come to be is just the effluent of Niall's predation on each other, that we live in the crumbling corporate of null eat null. The
Yep.
matter is the leftover of void rapacity, like that ugly statue, that abyssal aftermath. How great is that? And of course, this arc is not quite over yet because we're only on issue 5. It's just before the last of Abyss's nothingness fades away, out of his nothingness explodes a dialer.
Yep.
One of these other mysterious users of the dials who have crossed paths with the Squid and Abyss at times in the past. And we see a dial used properly as he changes forms like that. Bam, 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 over and over and over again. Just the right form at just the right moment in order to destroy XN's dial that she has stolen from Manto.
Yeah, because she was Hairbinger.
Was that her name? I
Yes.
didn't remember her name.
Yes, it was Hairbinger.
I forgot about that.
I don't remember the other name.
Yeah, it was
Hairbringer. Hairbinger
Hairbringer.
makes more sense. Why is it Hairbringer?
I thought it was Hairbinger.
No, it's Hairbringer, but Hairbinger would make more sense. Maybe that's a typo. Yeah, Hairbinger would probably make more sense.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's what it's supposed to be. because she's got masses of living hair. Simple as that. Yeah. So I mean, this is essentially the final part of like the big fight against like the center. This is the climax of this arc, but like there's the anti-climax to follow as well as we move on into then the next arc will start with number 7. So we got one more part to this first trade here, you know. But just a book that it is continuing to entertain me immensely with again the sheer imagination that it always manages to put forth in the form of the creatures and everything. But like with last issue's revelations about who and what the Squid and Abyss were, and this issue's the idea that the living universe is just shut out by nothing, essentially. That's the level of like dark, weird fantasy imagination and the high concepts that this book is dealing with, in addition to having hula hoops with chickens' heads on them.
You're just a bad pun.
Yeah, I know, so many of them are. But that's just where the ideas.
That's what's so fun, though. That's just
I know.
Fun.
And then when you're having fun, enjoying all these crazy creatures and everything, and the like trying to puzzle out the mystery at the heart of this thing, it drops some kind of depressingly grim high concept on you like that. And and suddenly you're thinking, how did that happen? I don't know.
Unlike Defenders, where I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Oh, no. Yes. So I continue to recommend Dial H. That's this month's issue, and I believe that's me.
Okay, sweet. All right. Well, there it is, kids. It's time for the final countdown. We've reached the end. It is AvsX 12, the final fight before the rest of the stuff that comes after the final fight that you will want to buy, or so Marvel says. Who wants to do this? Who's up
Well,
for this?
I didn't read it, so I'm out.
Okay.
I guess I'll do it then.
Okay.
Okay. Let's get over the story very quickly here. A large part of the early portion of this issue is a flashback to, I believe it was 3 days ago. Yeah, 3 days ago, in which the Avengers try to put their plan together for taking down the Phoenix Five, and we see Hope and the Scarlet Witch have a bit of a dust-up as they try to come to terms with what it is that they need to get done, and we see the destructive effects that are caused when their powers clash with one another. We then return to the present day, where the X-Men and the Avengers are now continuing to fight Cyclops, who has gone full Dark Phoenix and is rampaging across the world. And then, essentially, Hope and the Scarlet Witch combine their powers, lay into him, and manage to weaken him to the point where the Phoenix leaves his body. Hope then takes the Phoenix into her body, as has always been where we have been headed with this. She roams the world, repairing all the putting out the fires and things. Not straight repairing the damage that Cyclops has brought around the world, but ending the natural disasters and putting out the fires and everything. And then we see her in the Phoenix costume and everything. She actually becomes the Phoenix. But then Wanda and Hope unite. The man convinces Hope to unite her powers with her. They expel the Phoenix from Hope's body. The Phoenix encircles the world and restores mutants to the Earth. And then we get the little epilogue where everybody's going, here's what we're going to do next.
Yeah,
and that's
pretty much.
So
That's pretty much it.
In a nutshell, banged out. No, so this is actually a pretty decent issue. Despite my hasty summation of it there, this is pretty decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent. It hits all the beats. It's not just a big stupid fight. The end of the fight makes sense in context of what this miniseries has managed to set up, unlike Fear itself, for instance, to compare it to the most recent thing. This is the most recent crossover event. It has set up what's going forward. It accomplishes essentially what everybody thought it was setting out to do, which is bringing mutants back, while at the same time still managing to avoid killing Hope and or bringing Jean Grey back together, as well as managing to help redeem the Scarlet Witch.
Well, not only that, but not really killing a lot of people. I mean, you think about it, like, you know, the only person that really died was Professor Xavier, and
Yeah.
Hell, I think most people thought he was dead anyway. So, you know.
It's either, I think I said it last week. Is like I didn't even know. I read the issue before the newspaper started saying he's dead, and I was like, really? That was him supposed to have died? You know?
Yeah.
And he hasn't been relevant anyway in years.
No.
So, big friggin' loss.
Well,
Yeah.
I knew that he was alive because he was in the first issue of Wolverine and the X-Men, but that's it. That was the
Yeah.
last time I saw him.
There were-
Truly has not been relevant in a very long time, so it's no tremendous loss. Oh, Nova gets to pop
Oh
up
yeah,
in
and then I was like, hey, remember that Nova guy? Yeah.
He was in the first issue. So, I mean, as much as he flashes back into the story out of nowhere from the first issue, it's like, hey, point A to point Z. We just
Yep.
had to go through the rest of the alphabet to get there, but
Yep.
there it is. I mean, the issue, it's like, to be honest, in order to accomplish the act of being a decent issue, it basically has to kind of pretend that the entire second and third act of Avengers versus X-Men has been about something that it never was. Like,
Yeah.
we get this opening sequence in this issue where we recap Scarlet Witch's No More Mutants and everything, and, you know, it turns out that the Phoenix was essentially reacting to her destruction of mutants and declaring that there would be more mutants and that it was coming to Earth, and that Hope was born as a product of, she was actually born as a result of the Phoenix's goals, and it was her destiny to always wield the Phoenix and bring mutants back to Earth. And the idea is that the fiery order of the Phoenix and the primal chaos of Wanda's mutant magic, which I see we're now acknowledging again and not pretending doesn't exist anymore, thank you very much, Brian Bendis,
Mm-hmm.
are being treated as some kind of yin and yang thing. And I'm like, okay, I will buy all of that, but it has no precedent in anything like after issue 4 of this series has been about. Like, this story, after the end of the first act, stopped being about Hope and the Scarlet Witch completely and entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now
Yeah.
it loops back around to be about them again. And in doing so, provides literally the most satisfying conclusion that this whole thing could have had, but has to basically pretend that it was about those characters and about this whole order versus chaos setup a lot more than it actually ever was or has ever
Yeah.
been presented to be. Now, how much of that we can chalk up to the multiple writers approach, I don't know. I think that is something that can definitely be written off as a failed experiment.
Yeah, I mean, well, and that is a deal, like, talking about that, because it's like, you're absolutely right in the sense that it's almost like they got distracted by, wouldn't it be cool if, like, 5 people got the Phoenix powers, and if it was, like, Scott and Emma and all, it would be, and then they just go crazy, and then, yeah, we'll bring it around and do that whole Hope, Scarlet Witch thing or whatever, but in the middle, we've got the chance to do something really cool.
Well, it is the 5 people that shouldn't have the Phoenix Force, which was, I thought, a good idea. Like, which one? Like, I always thought Emma was going to be the one. I thought it was. It's like,
Well, of
she's
course
not-
everybody
I
would
was
think
really
that,
surprised
you know.
she didn't die, to be
Oh,
Yeah.
man, yeah.
Scott did not kill Emma, and then that would be a gateway to bringing Jean back. So
Because
fair
they
play
made
to
a
them.
big deal in some of the companion stuff. Maybe not in the actual AvsX issues, but in like some of those other things, like I think there's like the digital series, the Infinite or something.
Yeah, I've
made
not
a
read
di-
any of those, but you know.
Yeah, they made a big deal out of like Cyclops is like, you know, the whole reason that he's in charge is he's the one that tells them that they're going too far. He's like, I can control this. You know, I got this. And then he ain't got this. You know, he's the one that shouldn't have control of it. There at the end, he loses control.
Yeah.
I mean, internal to these 12 issues, this stopping being about Hope and Wanda and really turning around to be entirely about the Phoenix Five does not make for a very, like, cohesive 12-issue story to put in a book together. But in a larger sense, putting Cyclops into this role actually really works very well, because it is after he has spent a couple of years now doing the things that nobody really wants to have to admit, making the hard choices and doing the dickish-looking things in the name of protecting his race, and then further, like, trying to restore his race. And of course, it's the story of how, like, he goes down with the ship, essentially.
Yeah.
Becoming, getting the power of the Phoenix and becoming Dark Phoenix is that taken up to 11, and they don't talk about it. Like we get the little epilogue with Cyclops and Captain America at the very end here, But this whole issue is Triplet mentioned Uncanny X-Men 19, and it's just this issue from Cyclops' point of view, and you get like the good end. It just expands on it a lot, and
because like in the Uncanny X-Men, he even makes the comment at the end when like Beast is talking to him, and he finds out that there's new mutants now. He says there's new mutants that are showing up everywhere. And they're talking about all the horrible things he's done and all the blood that he has on his hands. And he even says, after everything I've done, I'd still do it all again.
Because he accomplished what he was setting out to do in the end. And, it's like Kieran Gillen, he tweeted it, like the last page of Uncanny X-Men number 19 is Cyclops walking out of the tent where they're keeping him in manacles and everything. And he just holds his arms up over his head and makes an X with them.
Big
and
old
Gillen,
X.
Yeah, Gillen just described that as like the culmination of the last 5 years of X-Men stories.
Yeah,
and that seems about right to me. It's everything. Surprisingly, like, after a story that seemed to go off the rails pretty badly in the middle, to manage to turn around and provide pretty much the single most logical and satisfying conclusion this story could possibly ever have had is really quite surprising and impressive.
Yeah. Well, and nice leads ins to where we're going now with Marvel Now, and going into some of the changes that are coming up. So
I mean, unfortunately, if you boil it down, a lot of this, I mean, the Cyclops is where the real repercussions are going to happen, and I don't imagine they'll be happening in an awful hurry, because he's been locked up. Again, in the end, this is really 12 issues to put the genie back in the bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, where Siege was essentially Siege was, like, on the surface, the culmination of the previous, like, circle of storytelling of the shattering of the Avengers and the rebuilding of them, which began with Avengers Disassembled. Like, this one really is the very, very end of the cycle of the last years of the last 8 years of what has driven the Marvel Universe. Like, Siege wrapped up the Avengers element of it, but this is wrapping up the X-Men part of it and what happened to the mutants and the Scarlet Witch's story as well. And I know that I think about it, Bendis is leaving the Avengers now as well. So, and this all began when he started writing the Avengers. So that 8 years of Avengers under Bendis is truly like it is kind of like an epoch for the Marvel Universe, which spans Avengers Disassembled, House of M, Civil War, Secret Invasion, Siege, and Avengers versus X-Men.
And it also feels like, the X-Men are back in the Marvel Universe. They weren't really out of the Marvel Universe, but, they were in their own section.
They always have been.
They were in the Marvel Universe, but in their own world.
But
See what I did there? See what I did
there? They are part of the bigger whole of the Marvel Universe.
Well, and that's the thing is, like, over the last, you talk about ever since, House of M, the mutant population has been so low that it's really sort of killed the books in that way. Just a sort of plot element that's taken a lot away from the universe because you just don't have a lot of mutants around. So,
I mean, like, the only way you kind of knew the X-Men were still around is because, like, Wolverine is on every freaking team.
Well, yeah.
It reminds you that the X-Men were still around. It's like, oh yeah, we're still up there at the school, just hanging.
Hanging out,
the X-Men
playing flag football with Avengers Academy.
I mean, altogether, like, as a whole, Avengers versus X-Men, you do feel like Marvel learned a lot of lessons from Fear Itself, because Fear Itself was so bad.
Awful. It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's like they really
it started
did
off with a bang, but just...
It really did. Fear Itself started well, but it really tanked. And it's like they really did learn a lesson from the terrible performance of Fear Itself, because they cut down on every tie-in. No tie-ins except in existing comics and one miniseries. And Fear Itself took the tie-in miniseries to absolutely ridiculous levels. And that killed, like, that was the snake eating its own tail. Like, that pushed there were so many of them.
That was ironic. I like that. Because it is serpent with the, okay.
Yeah. Like, people who would normally buy every tie-in, the quantity was pushed up to such a point where they had to say, okay, I can't buy all of these. But in doing so, they then refocused their attention and said, okay, if I'm not buying all of these, which ones do I actually want? And as a result, they wound up buying far fewer than they would have, or they would have normally bought them all if they hadn't pushed them to such a ridiculous extreme. And they did learn their lesson, and they honest to God stuck to it for AvX, and fair play to them for that. And it's like, the multiple writers thing, I'm not sure where they were going with it. It's like if they wanted to have everybody be on the same page with the story, so they put everybody on it. But then, like, in practice, the writers rarely actually seem to be on the same page with the story, and we're doing lots of small and fairly unimportant but distracting continuity clashes and problems, and people not being in the same places and stories turning out different ways, and all the tie-in books and everything. So I think the multiple writers thing can probably be written off. I mean, Jason Aaron's issues were probably, and maybe Hickman's, were probably like the most satisfying scripted issues of this. And thank God, when I opened this, and I was like, please let not Bendis write this.
Yeah. Yeah, and I saw on the front, it's like, okay, it's Jason Aaron, okay.
Bendis' issues have absolutely been the weakest of this. And it's like last issue of this, issue 11, was a Bendis written issue, which started with a couple-page prologue about how the Hulk was going to join the team and help Smash. Then the Hulk did nothing in the entire rest of the issue, which was just a long, drawn-out fight sequence, which Bendis is historically not good at writing.
Yeah.
Like, if you're
I expected the Hulk to do something like huge, and it went nowhere.
Nowhere.
Like,
Yeah,
in a movie, wasn't he? We better stick him in this just so people know.
It's so funny. The way I talked about it, it's like in these different books, it's like it was like different books of the Bible, where it's like, you know, it's like some of it's the same story, but it's like different writer perspective, and so like, you know, I think like you say, like the Jason Aaron books would be like Mark or something, where it's like, you know, pretty much straightforward, good story. You know, you get to the Bendis stuff, and it's like Luke, where there's like weird stuff. It's like not part of the other things. It's kind of, and then you get to Hickman, and Hickman's like John, where like in the beginning of John, it's like in the beginning of the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. And like in Hickman's like beginning book, it was like in the beginning of the universe, there was this massive thing, and this Phoenix Force that came all together, and it was just like you're just in a different planet, you know. But and that's the way these books ended up coming out. It was like so. The writers that were writing in this have such a unique style and perspective that it killed some of that flow and continuity between the books, because it was like, oh, Spider-Man standing aside saying funny things, let me guess, it's Bendis. Yeah. You know, it's like weird high concept, and it's Hickman, okay.
But it's not just that. I mean, just like in the actual like facts of the story.
Right. Yeah, and that too.
Did not seem to line up. And like one issue would end in one place, like around the halfway mark, when the Scarlet Witch makes her entrance into the story, and the Avengers are all, ooh, Scarlet Witch, no, finger wag, and she just go, I'm not with, and she says to Cyclops or the X-Men, she says, I'm not with the Avengers, I'm just here for Hope, and she leaves with Hope, and then next issue, she and Hope are chilling with the Avengers, and I'm like, what?
When did
That's not where that left off. You know, points like that. They just like oftentimes the writers really did not seem to be on the same page in various ways.
Where did Vision end up?
Vision has played fuck all role in this story, despite being one of the stars of number 0.
He just showed up to say, you know, you can't come in here.
That's the big missing element out of this last issue is like, I didn't see Vision anywhere.
Yeah, well, he can probably be snarky to Wanda in, wait, Bendis isn't writing Avengers anymore. Everyone doesn't have to run around acting snarky to one another.
Okay, you'll see more Vision pop up when Avengers 2 comes around.
Right, Avengers 2, and then they make Coulson. They make Coulson into Vision. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I can get with that. No, but altogether, a surprisingly decent, logical, enjoyable end to a fairly scattershot and inconsistent story that actually accomplishes what it sets out to do in a way that kind of doesn't destroy the universe and didn't have to kill a load of people except the character who wasn't really relevant for years anyway. I think the pros outweigh the cons on AvX altogether.
Yeah, came out and we got mutants again.
Yeah. It's better than Fear itself.
It's better than Fear itself.
Well, let's just think here. It's better than
I'd say
itself.
it's better than Siege, honestly.
It's better than Siege, yeah.
Oh yeah, way better than Siege.
It's better than Secret Invasion.
Yeah. Except for that
Probably not better
Deadpool
than
story.
World War Hulk.
World War Hulk wasn't all of that in a
I
bag
always,
of
well, I love World War Hulk because World War Hulk had
Hulk was
absolutely
awesome. World War
World
Hulk
War
was not
well,
that
in
great.
World War Hulk had no illusions about itself. It said, "This will be 5 issues of the Hulk beating the shit out of everybody," and it was. It
And
had
then
no
he'll
illusions
get
about
beat
anything.
by the Sentry at the end, and they'll capture him. Wow, what a great comic!
Yeah, but well, yeah, okay. The Sentry was in it, so that's immediately.
I mean, you lose points pretty
You
quick.
You lose
There-
points
there's
just that,
Sentry
yeah.
and
Hey,
AvsX.
I
There's
forgot-
Sentry and AvsX. Automatic 100 points added to AvsX.
It's like conversely, like even though Siege was about killing the Sentry, it still did not gain points for doing so.
No, because like the aftermath, we found out that what Rogue slept with the Sentry or something.
Oh my
Well,
god. Speaking
Ta-da!
of the Sentry though, in this I forgot
tempting the world and doing horrible things.
I forgot to mention in the Minimum Carnage, there's a whole line here where Carnage is getting pissed off about everybody trying to catch him. He's like, and he's talking about moving on. He's like, well, I'm done here with all of you heroes, always angry with me, always taking away my towns, locking me up, tearing me in half. It's like, oh yeah, that did
Like
happen.
the one thing the Sentry's ever done that's ever had repercussions for anybody, and it was Carnage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
Anyway, so
Anyway,
no, AvX though.
So, it's definitely better than the last bunch of Marvel crossovers.
And like you say, like it's a true, like it's what you want out of a good event in that it actually bridges to what's coming next. It's not like a faked bridge or whatever. It's like it's honestly the repercussions from this are leading into Marvel now, and the events
like
that
I
we're
used
going
to
to see
say about
coming up.
Siege was that it really didn't matter what Siege was about. Norman Osborn could have done anything. It just so happened that he attacked Asgard, but he could have done anything, and it could still have facilitated the getting back together of the Avengers and his removal from power. Whereas Avengers versus X-Men, like its specific events all kind of had to come down this way.
Yeah.
And they are going to inform what happens going forward. It's not throw away the way Siege was.
Yeah.
And it makes sense the way Siege.
Now that we talk about it, I kind of want Uncanny Avengers a little bit more now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to set the stage for it, aren't you?
I didn't talk about it because Chris McFeely hasn't read it. But if you missed out and for some reason aren't already reading it, you should read Avengers Academy because it is a great, fun little denouement to this. It's set after the events of AvX 12, so it's actually a lot of fun.
You can tell them what it's about. I mean, I know that it.
I mean, it's the flag football game.
The flag football game between the Jean Grey School and Avengers Academy. Something people have been asking for since the Jean Grey School happened.
Right. But what's great about it is that it's typical Christos Gage, where it's the going from an event and letting that event inform the story that he's telling, but not sort of take it over, and yet letting those elements sort of play out within it. So it's really interesting. It makes for a nice like after breath, especially. I think we were talking about this issue coming up and saying that we felt like it was mistimed. Like, this is the wrong time to do it, like, right after AvX, and having read it and seeing what he did, no, this is perfect. Like,
Could have known better.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is, like, what happens and the way he talks about it and how it works is perfect. Like, this is, and what else would you expect, from Christos Gage? So, anyway, sad times. One more issue of that left, but that's
I'll be getting to read that tomorrow.
I hope so, because damn, I want to talk about it. Like there's one thing in it that's so great. Anyway, but I won't go into detail. I don't want to ruin it for you. So, all right, cool. Well, there you go. That's the show. So that'll be all in a trade. Just check that out if you haven't. If you skipped it because you're used to getting burned on Marvel events, it's actually worth a read, especially like the first 3 issues and then the last like maybe 1. So read AvX 1, 2, 3, and 12, and I think you're probably good.
In AvsX Versus number 6 because it's excellent.
Yeah.
The ridiculous thing is that the first collection for this is an oversized hardcover, which is like $70 and contains the whole 12-issue series, the 6 issues of Versus, and digital exclusive stuff. So if you're waiting for an affordable way to read this, you'll be waiting a little while.
Well, okay, just download the digital.
Or just get a hold of JD and he'll send you all of his copies.
Sure. I've got the digital copies in the side, so I guess I could send you those. Because I don't want my digital copies, but seemed like there was one other thing I was going to mention.
Was it the fact that we didn't talk about The Dark Knight?
Yeah, I kind of screwed the pooch on that one because I forgot to watch it, but yeah, but we'll do that at a later time. We had a lot of stuff to cover this week, so that is okay. I'm gonna say that's okay. It's okay.
That's okay.
So don't forget to watch Arrow this week.
Yeah.
That's a thing that's happening. Should do that. And,
Oh yeah, don't watch The Dark Knight Returns, but for God's sake,
right, forgot to say watch Arrow.
Yeah.
I haven't read Dark Knight Returns yet. I feel kind of weird watching it, having not read it, but I guess I can watch it and not worry about reading
read
it.
number 2 and you'll be okay. Just read number 2.
I didn't like number 1, so we'll see what happens.
Number 2, you big baby.
I was going to mention that
awesome.
cool stuff. I got my first bit of item from my Kickstarter purchase of Leaving Megalopolis, and I got my screen wallpaper. So those came out really nice. So those are cool. So that's my first little perk. So that's going to be like hardcover, 48 pages with a backup, I think, as well, or something like that. So it came out.
When's that coming out? Do we know when it's getting released?
It'll be next year. I mean, because they just started working out. But it is the complete creative team, all the way down to colors, from Secret 6. So it's So it is going to have that look and feel of Secret 6, for sure. But it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm excited. So, and I have to wait, but it'll be good. So as soon as I get it out, I'll be reviewing it and talking about it that week for sure. So, all right. Well, that's us. That's Fanboy Versus. Tune in each week.
Okay.
4 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. GMT time. Follow us on Twitter at FanboyVS. And
you don't have to say GMT time. The T stands for time. Greenwich Mean Time.
That's like the ATM machine?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Or an EMP pulse.
EMP
You don't have to say it.
pulse. I don't have to say GM
T.
time
Or GMT.
or GM time.
Because you don't say Eastern Standard. You don't say EST time.
I would say Eastern.
Well, whatever the hell backward end of the world it is you live in.
Right. This is America, where we have standard measurements because nobody else does. So anyway, GM time. You can also go to the website at Fanboy, or it's www.fanboyversus.com and all that as well. So anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, and please tune in next time when it'll be Fanboy Versus.
This has been Fanboy Versus. Visit us at tfradio.net for show notes and to subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on Twitter at tfradio for news and updates. Like the podcast? Leave us feedback on iTunes. Copyright 2011 Radio Free Cybertron.